just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them, you thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcasts. I am Justin here with Meelz. We are on episode 120 of the show.
120 weeks.
Think about how different. Yeah,
it's like 4 years.
think about how different. Think about how different you look now compared to when this started.
I may have gained probably like 10 pounds, but other than that, you know what? I don't know. I don't even remember how I look. I just variously, I don't know. I don't age in podcast years. I'm just like keep going and going and going on this like loop of doing this for like forever. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm happy to be here for 120 weeks, 120 episodes of the A Show. Hope everyone is doing just as well as I am, even if you live in like a state like Iowa or something where, you know, corruption is running wild. Corruption mania.
Man, I knew it was. Listen, man, this is WWE. You want to talk about booking? The way the Democrats are.
WWE. Everything is wrestling, as we've said before. But yes, go ahead.
You know, you want to talk about bad storylines? The Democrats got them beat. All right, this is a terrible story.
Bad booking, pal. This is bad booking. They ruined the territory.
But you know, I spoke with my political man on the street, Eric Abris.
Okay, of course. Yes,
I asked him.
A very radicalized one. I mean, so radicalized that his thoughts have been shielded away from all social platforms. What we'll say about that? It's just so radical.
Yeah, I mean, he's so radical that Twitter, he was just like, you know what, we're just going to take you away for no reason. Like, it was just, just took him away for no reason. So, yeah, he told me, you know what, you know, the Iowa thing, you know, this is basically a way to show how incompetent the Dems are going to be this year. And he was like, you know, if you know, it just sets a good precedent for whoever you wanted to vote to have won first, you know, regardless of who, you know, you wanted to vote for. I don't want to get too political on the show here, but yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how this unfolds, especially against Bernie and Pete and Biden, who I don't think has a chance at all.
Right, of course. Let's not get political. Let's not get too political.
Yeah, unless we're talking about Hogan politics. It's not gonna work for me.
Oh my god, what do we got for No Holds Barred this week?
Oh man, No Holds Barred. We are we're on the road to WrestleMania, but before we get to WrestleMania, we have to go through Saudi Arabia, allegedly. So,
oh, god damn it.
Goldberg was announced to be returning during Raw on Monday on this Friday's episode of Smackdown. Finally, SmackDown gets a big match for once.
I don't even know if it's a big match. It might just be a big appearance. It might be big something. They need something, to be honest with you. And the fact that they haven't even gotten Goldberg any sooner is like wild to me, because they have been drowning in a pool of dog food for the last number of weeks. And they need something. They need a pulse. They need something different to just be on the show, because it is just terrible. Just terrible. But yes, Goldberg, Friday on SmackDown. I'm here for it. Just in terms of just like the difference that it will make. The one segment that'll be different from the sea of repetitive segments on the show. As you can see, I'm already ranting about SmackDown. But
you know what? To be fair, I didn't think SmackDown was that bad on Friday.
We'll talk about it, but it was yes, of course. But Goldberg, in terms of who could he be facing? Listen, I already did my Meelz booking. If you see it on Twitter, I am here. Have you seen it, by the way? My thoughts? I
haven't seen your thought. I have to stay away from Twitter when Raw is airing. So as you know, I watch it after everyone's asleep.
Sure, of course. So you can clearly have your thoughts cut through the spectrum as sharply as they do. I said, you know what? This may be wild. This may be wild for 100% for a man who is in his 50s. I need Goldberg to be announced as the first competitor in the Elimination Chamber to crown the number one contender for the WWE Championship.
No, let's not have it.
Yes, of course. And what? I mean, so
Goldberg in the chamber.
Goldberg in the chamber. Yeah, of course. He dominated in the chamber last time he was in the chamber. Sure, it was like 18 years ago, but he dominated in the chamber. I'm only saying this because I feel like SmackDown might just ruin this opportunity that it has with Goldberg. And I think just Goldberg in itself, first of all, it adds another main event to the mix because, quite frankly, you put in whoever's going to be in the Elimination Chamber, if there is going to be one from the SmackDown side, whoever's going to be in there is going to be Roman, Baron, and then where? Where do we go from there? Literally.
Fiend.
No, but it's for the number one contender for Fiend's Championship.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do you go? You put Daniel Bryan in there. After that, I don't know where you go from there. I think personally, it would be a great thing. You can open up another feud in the middle of it. You could build this kind of success story. I'm sure Goldberg, we can have him not run into things for maybe like 10 minutes in the show, even though the Elimination Chamber is prone to be running into things. We just have to walk him through this.
His head is going through everything.
Oh yeah,
in that building.
Well, we need him in a match. We need him in multiple matches, at least two. I feel like between now and Mania, just for that SmackDown brand, we need him in something. He can't just. SmackDown is the drizzling of all drizzles, so I need him in something. What were you thinking for this man's return?
I am for the first time flabbergasted. I have no words, no words at all for what they could do here. Someone said Baron Corbin. They floated that idea, and I guess that's cool. Anything to get him away from Roman at this point, that would be fine. Corbin's fine, but you know what I want. You already know what I want.
What do you want? Wait a minute. What do you want? I'm not fully sure. What do you want? You want Goldberg versus the Undertaker too? Oh, is that it? Bad Bunny. No, I mean, listen, Goldberg versus Undertaker too. I get what you mean from there. I mean, obviously, I feel like this is just a ploy for Saudi Arabia. I don't even know if this is going to extend to Elimination Chamber. I think they should skip Saudi Arabia altogether. But I feel like this is definitely some sort of money thing for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Goldberg Taker too, because this match is going to be like 2 minutes long. So should we really be thinking that heavily about it?
No, because he's not really going to be in the mix for anything important because he is just, he's not going to be in the WWE title thing. I mean, he could. That would be no, let's not do that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we are thinking too deep into this. Maybe he's literally just showing up on SmackDown. Well,
we know he's getting a Saudi bag. We know that. So.
Oh, easily, yeah. I mean,
how many people on the active roster use the spear as a finisher right now?
So there's Edge, there's Goldberg, there's Roman. I feel like there's another.
Charlotte has one.
Charlotte, of course. I think Bianca Belair could use a spear from time to time.
I think she does use the spear. I think she does.
A couple people.
A lot of people use the spear.
I mean, at least 3 main event high competitors use the spear as a finishing maneuver. So,
who has the best spear? Who has the best spear in the game?
Goldberg, still.
Yeah,
I guarantee you. So, I think it's Goldberg. Roman, I think, is the second. The runner-up right there. I think he has great timing with the spear.
I like the Superman punch. I like his Superman punch setups.
I like when it just comes out of where he's just bouncing off the ropes and you're just like, what is going on here? And then it's like, bam, spear. Edge was always
the one he finished Taker with.
Right. Edge was always like a questionable spear. It was, at times it was a spear, at times it was a hug. It really it was mainly because he would be. Edge is a very tall person, so it's like varying heights on the person he's spearing at whatever points. So it's like him actually like running into the person's gut. You'd have to either jump in it or be a really tall person. But nonetheless, here we are. We'll see what happens with Goldberg on SmackDown. I mean, at least that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. Next up, Vince McMahon fired George Barrios, Michelle Wilson. And people are freaking out about this, and so are the stocks. Well, the stocks went up today.
They went back up?
Yeah, they went back up. But stocks fell about.
I bought their stock, and I was like, I learned my lesson. Let's get out of this.
So apparently, George Barrios and Michelle Wilson, they were kind of like the glue that held the corporate structure of the WWE together. Just the COO and of the company, and a lot of people freaked out about it. Listen, I'm not going to act like with this news, this news that I know exactly 100% how important it is as far as the direction that the company takes. I think everything that we see on TV, in some way, shape, or form, they know, they know what's going on and how to make it successful. But everyone turning into stock portfolio analysts on Friday throughout the weekend. It's just been hilarious, right?
Well, it's the many hats of wrestling fans, as I can say. Like it's like beyond just, we're not only stock analysts, we're also political analysts, we're also doctors, we're also, entertainment agents, we're also business, things. There's just so
HR,
many things.
they're HR as well.
Wellness directors, wellness and counseling directors.
Yeah.
There's so many different things.
Union agents as well.
There's so many different things that there's so many different things that we're just like into and but you know what? I don't know. I mean, once again, it's the long-term like kind of head of the company, and there's kind of cited that there's been like in terms of like the direction that they want to go and the direction that Vince wants to go is completely different direction. So Vince decided that they should probably go somewhere else.
Did you just see this Knicks news? Did you just see this Knicks news? That's why we were laughing.
Yeah, because I had to run to the damn chat and stop Cam from working his magic. Because I do not want Kyle Kuzma on my team, to be honest with you. He's cool, but not like nah.
Oh man, that's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hats that wrestling Twitter wears. This hat particularly is the most annoying one of them all. I'm not going to pretend to know what's going on. I'm hoping that if they do hire someone new, they hire 2 people or one person that is progressive and is able to kind of cut through a lot of the blind spots that the company has shown for the past couple of years. I think they're doing a great job as far as hiring diverse picks, but also getting into diverse spaces. I think they struggled with, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I think WWE just needs to be more open to the diversity that is watching their shows and paying money to go see them, and not to the same white folk that are at all their shows. So I'm hoping that that's a key thing. But if it's not, I mean, we'll see. I think that, they have the power and the opportunity to do so much with these new hires, and let's just hope that they do it, right?
I mean, it's I'm interested in kind of where this direction goes. They were a large part of kind of like the company thing over the last number of years, which has headed actually to the kind of resurgence of WWE, right? Like in terms of their era of running things, but it just seems like they're going completely different ways. Or maybe Vince McMahon is like ready to step down and is like, I don't know if I like these two. I don't know if I like these two running my company. To be honest with you, I'm about to go do XFL, and then I'm about to just go like, he's probably going to work until he legitimately dies. But I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. It seemed weird that they both were let go on the same day at the same time for the same reason.
It just seems like he's cleaning house just in case the XFL blows up. And the XFL does premiere this weekend, so it's a big weekend.
Is it?
I mean, it is. I mean,
I think with people,
let's not act like.
No, but I think people are. Yeah, it's not football exhaustion yet. Like, to be honest with you, like
for people who don't watch
football.
Yes,
I don't watch football at all. So I'm like, is this not exhaustion? Like, legitimately, after the Super Bowl, you go through this extreme high of various things, and now you're like also corralled into another umpteen weeks of football. Like, that's not weird to people. I don't know. I don't know. At least he didn't come up with another baseball company, because I can't do any more months of that. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens to George Barrios. Actually, we won't see unless they show up on the AEW. Like, there's no. I don't think the bag is that. I don't think the bag's that big there. I don't expect to see them ever again. So best of luck in your future endeavors. You have to feature endeavor.
I'm pretty sure they got big severance. Big severance. Come on.
George the Bag Barrios.
Thank you. In injury news, AJ Styles, it was confirmed by WWE that AJ Styles does have a separated shoulder. I think I called this during the Rumble 2 weeks ago when he took the spear from Edge and he landed on his shoulder, and I said he should not have done that flip bump. There was no room. There was literally, I think it was like Ricochet was right in front of him or something like that when he took that spear. Oh, no, it wasn't Ricochet. It was somebody that was right in front of him when he took that spear, and I said he looked like he landed really bad. He later confirmed on his Mixer stream that he did, what did he say? He overbrothered himself on that, and he did injure himself. So that was confirmed.
I mean, it's probably confirmed that he's going to miss Mania with a separated shoulder. That's not a really easy fix to come back for. So
no, he said he's going to make it.
You sure?
No, he did say that. Yeah, he said they said they don't expect him to miss April.
All right. 44-year-old AJ Styles. All right, we out here working. We working. Okay. All right.
In signing news, Timothy Thatcher, one of the last big signings you could make on the Indies, reportedly signed to the E this week and is reporting to the Performance Center.
I like Timothy Thatcher. I've seen maybe 3 matches of him.
I like him too. I've seen him at a lot of PWG shows I've been to. This is a number of years ago when we were working under the Wrestle Rap umbrella. I saw him at an Evolve show. This is the same Evolve show that I also saw Apollo Crews, Rich Swann. This was Drew McIntyre's first match, one of his first matches post WWE. Who else was there? It was Moose was there. A lot of people Ricochet was there. A lot of Johnny Gargano was there. Oh my God, what a stacked show. So many people who have now been featured on WWE program, and Timothy Thatcher was one that kind of stood out to me. He faced on that show, I think he faced Zack Sabre Jr., which was like, that made me a fan of Zack Sabre Jr. and a fan of Timothy Thatcher. So the fact that he's coming to the WWE to me is just a great look. I'm wondering, how does he sort of fit in? What's his character?
With everyone else on NXT who's trying to like manage to like wedge theirself in, because you remember they still have all those people. Remember that tournament they did with all the new people and then we never saw any of those new people again.
Whoa. We saw Homeboy. He showed up for a while. He beat Kushida too. Cameron Grimes.
Gotta love
Cameron
homeboy. I mean, but where's he been over the last number of weeks? Like
Well, they did I hate to cross over into the war report here, but the Dusty.
Oh, they do it all the time. All right.
The Dusty really killed, to me, a lot of opportunities for people to be on the show for a month. So he'll probably show up again. I think they have a lot of love for Cameron Grimes as well as Swerve. Swerve was in that tournament too, I believe, and he's been on TV all the time.
You know what? I think like in general, I don't know. I'm wondering how he fits in. Just from a look standpoint, and like everything he offers. What does he offer that the next person doesn't offer? And there's so many people in the Performance Center. There's legitimately so many people in the Performance Center. I would be surprised. Like I would be tight if I've been in Performance Center for 4 years and somebody who keeps getting signed keeps showing up before me if I'm in the Performance Center. But Timothy Thatcher, I'm excited for him nonetheless. I mean, I'm happy for him. I'm like to see him in the WWE ring. I think he's incredible. So I think that kind of summarizes just how I feel. But I'm wondering now, where does he fit in? How does he fit in? Where does he go? What does he do? That's kind of what I, want to like, that's what I'm looking for in my mind. What does he do?
We shall see. Hopefully they team him up with Malcolm Bivens.
Bivens Enterprises. Listen.
Yeah. That seems to be imminent. That seems to be imminent and on the way.
I hope so. Because they got that other, Biven-esque, person who's falling around. What's her face?
WWE main event star, Chelsea Green.
Oh, yeah. Not main event. I don't want people to keep thinking that she's a main event star.
Oh, no.
She was
the
featured,
show, main event.
She was featured on the show, WWE main event. Yes. The Hulu exclusive. So, we can only hope.
Yeah. Drug suspensions. There are apparently more suspensions coming for wellness. No one knows who. Oh,
really?
Yeah, nobody knows who. Someone said it was Samoa Joe last night, and WWE had to immediately come out and say it is not Samoa Joe. He is suffering from concussions. They had to literally say he is not being suspended for drugs.
Oh my God! Listen, who are these people? Who are these drug hounds trying to go after the people? Who are these dirt sheets that are going in files? I thought people from the E, they had the meeting. It was like, don't talk to the dirt sheets. Where are these drug suspension moles coming from? And why is it like there are drug suspensions coming and there haven't been drug suspensions like issued immediately?
I don't know. I also feel like that dirt sheet meeting is some of it is there's no smoke to it. I don't feel like that really happened.
I think it was probably like over
exaggerated.
Yeah, I think he would just say like, listen, and we expect you guys to be professional and kind of like, don't talk to all these people who are kind of, because it really affects people's business and all this other stuff like that. They said it kind of spiraled out from the first, like, hey, stop egging on main event, stop egging on the Raw and SmackDown guys, even if you're from NXT. That's what I heard it from.
Which they should stop doing.
Yes, I mean, but even I think that was kind of exaggerated in a sense. It was just like, all right, like, relax, guys. Like, we're here, we're doing a great thing. Let's keep focusing on that. Blah 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 blah. But we'll see how that goes, man. But
do you really want to be on Raw? Do you really want to be on Raw? That's what they need to say. The way they wrote off Rey Mysterio on Monday, I felt like he could possibly be one, but they just haven't announced it yet. Right back to his old habits.
Listen, nah, I hope not. I mean, if that's what got his knee shaking a little bit harder, like, you know what, juice up, my friend. But
be extra sturdy.
Yeah,
extra sturdy.
Oh my God.
And that's no holds bar for this week. Let's get into the show, shall we?
Yes, please. Let's get into these. A tale of two shows once again. To me, all right. So here's the thing. I know we're going to talk about SmackDown first, obviously, because it came first on our week thing. I don't think SmackDown was bad. I just have a lot. I'm not intrigued at all by anything happen on SmackDown. Nothing to me. The booking is like stupid to me, of the fact that they've had for instance, I'll say this. So they had a Miz and Morrison win a number one contenders match. I kicked off the show.
I liked it.
I like the idea of, you know what? I didn't even like the idea of the match because it's like, obviously the program was heading in that way. Why even dupe us as fans to make us think that they weren't going to face them anyway? Like, I get what you mean by trying to establish them, but they're already established. They're multiple time tag team champions. First of all, Miz has won umpteen tag team championships. Morrison has won umpteen tag team championships, world champion, all this other stuff. Like, why do we have to have this competitive fatal four way for the sake of having a fatal four way when we know what the result was going to be? And it was such a glaring, because you had the Revival in that match. Revival at this point, they were like, they've checked all the way out. Like
they're on borrowed time at this point.
They're taking pins and everything. You had the fat guys, Heavy Machinery. You had them in the
fat
match.
Guys. Hold on, man.
None of it was untrue.
On, man.
So you had them in that match. There's no idea. And then you had Lucha House Party, which was like,
I'm still like the fat guys. What are you going to clean that up at all? Like,
no. What is wrong? Is fat offensive?
Yes.
Fat is offensive. Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Tell Monique that when she was like, "I love being fat."
What does Monique is not everyone.
All right.
Monique is also like, never mind. But you're not going to clean that up at all.
No, I feel like Heavy Machinery knows they're fat.
Tucky isn't fat, and Otis isn't. I'm not going to call Otis fat. He's a big boy.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. Maybe we're cleaning up. Maybe we become too.
Also, what if we
can't say that he's fat?
What if we have people that are a little bit bigger that listen to the show?
No, so here's what I'll say about that. Here's what I'll say about that. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna stop right here because I see what you're trying to do, and I'm not gonna have it to me. This is the same over the top rope conversation, Jazz, that I feel coming. So you know what?
2020.
So with 2020, we can't call people fat. I don't want to live in America. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I don't know why they let us on with this ruse that they were somehow earned this championship. But I think a lot the better story would have been like, all right, let's just have the match. Let's have the match. Let's do the match. It's like, let's get off to the races. Why are we stalling for time? This is why I like Raw now. Like, because SmackDown's stalling for time. Because The Miz, first of all, The Miz has beaten Kofi, and I think he's beaten Big E. And I think Morrison has beaten Kofi, and he's beaten Big E. So it's like, why?
No, I don't think they've beaten both. He hasn't been here. He hasn't been back that long. I think
Morrison first match was against Big E, and then he beat Kofi. Yeah,
Morrison beat both, but Miz didn't. Miz didn't
beat both. But I'm saying, like, at this point, like, they've beaten them multiple times. Give him this opportunity at the straps. Don't string us along with this match when you could have been having a much more fire match with somebody else. And not to say that the match wasn't good, but it's like it was not necessary to me. Like, just looking back at the show. But the Miz and Morrison win, so I'm all over the moon.
Miz. They'll be meeting in Saudi Arabia. So that's going to be a thing that happens in Saudi Arabia.
I love how we don't call it the pay-per-view and we call it their meeting in Saudi Arabia.
I am going to be forced to watch the show because of something that happened on Raw, and I'm not happy about it. But Brian and The Fiend off TV this week. How do you feel about that?
Good. They had Brian with a little bit of a segment after the show. I think The Fiend just needs to cool down in general. We don't necessarily need him on the show. Obviously, they need more time for like dog food and all the other various things. So it was good to have him off the show. I think it's like when you have a 2-hour show, you aren't able to feature everybody. Why not feature those two guys and give some other shots to other people? But, it is what it is. I would have rather seen a much more fire Daniel Bryan match than a lot of the other stuff on this show.
Yeah, where's Drew Gulak? What's going on? It's frustrating. Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the IC title was a match that happened in 4 minutes. We all knew this was going to happen.
No, it didn't happen in 4 minutes.
It was a 4 minute from bell to bell. Now I'm not talking about the shenanigans after and before.
Are you serious?
Bell to bell. It was 4 minutes.
Are you dead? I
listen. I take time for this stuff. I take time. I actually do.
Well, when it comes to Shinsuke, you definitely pay attention for sure. But 4 minutes.
This is like Shinsuke's first loss in like 9 months.
Well, first non-Cesaro paired loss at least, but
yeah. First pinfall. How about that?
How about this? This is Braun Strowman's first singles championship. We've had
3 years.
We talk about the Roman Reigns story of them doing WrestleMania after WrestleMania after WrestleMania, trying to retell this story. They've been trying to tell a story with Braun for years. It has not worked out. They didn't trust Braun with the main championship, which to me was ludicrous. At this point, like if there was any time to put the strap on him, it should have been, I think, like, was it last year or 2 years ago at Saudi Arabia?
2 years ago.
When Roman had a diagnosis due to leukemia. Yeah. So I thought if there was any time to put the strap on him, it was at that time, and you could have easily just taken it off him. But they said that they just never put it on him. So it's like now we're 2 years later. He's out here shaking his ass on Smackdown, doing all types of goofy shit, and he gets the Intercontinental title. Fine, but what does Braun Strowman mean right now?
The optics of
summer of Braun, yeah.
The optics of Braun from like Great Balls of Fire, like 2.5 years ago to now is a lot of opportunities to win this title. And the main title, and then in February 2020, he wins the IC title, and that is his legacy. It's just hilarious. It's hilarious to me.
It is. I'm sure he's happy. I'm sure that this moment is great for him. But the peak of Braun Strowman is come and gone. And we're in whatever waning moments at this time. I'm not saying his career is over by any means or any stretch of imagination, but the time to put anything on him has long and passed. And now he's got to try to work a momentum as a face going against whatever heels that are on SmackDown to defend this belt. So we'll see how it goes. I'm sure he'll lose it via shenanigans.
He'll probably lose it in a tables match where he'll step on the table again, like that one time he lost to Sammy.
What an idiot.
Next up, Naomi returns to challenge Bayley in a match that were a lot of people really afraid that she wasn't going to show up on SmackDown on Friday. I saw people tweet that. Yes. I don't know why you guys thought that.
What do you mean you don't know why? It was like 9:26 and we're like, okay, so we're not going to have Naomi, who was trending on Twitter, who's been trending where people have been discovering Naomi since the Royal Rumble. We're not going to have
well, I'm sure they know that that's what happened. And I think it's clear at this point that they knew, or they were aware at least. But I had always figured from watching the show, and mind you, again, SmackDown's another show where I'm off the social media machine when it's on. But from the show, I was like, well, if the Usos are going to show up and Naomi's going to show up, they'll probably put them pretty close together. And
I never thought of that. I never put 2 and 2 together because I just thought they would just bring out the 6-man tag and maybe doing that for 35 minutes instead of doing, fin in this quick segment here and there. But
yeah, I was never in doubt. I was never in doubt with that. I think that they were biding their time, and I think that if people were concerned that she wasn't going to be facing Bayley, I'm like, who else is there? Sasha is injured or whatever's going on with Sasha again. I
think Dana Brooke really fell on her pretty damn hard because she has not been seen since that match. I would kill Dana Brooke. That's a little.
Whoa!
I would put the hurts on Dana Brooke if I was Sasha Banks in this moment because, goddamn pal, she hasn't been seen since. You know how Sasha is. She's fragile. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've talked about this for a number of years, and unfortunately for Sasha, she's out. But you got Naomi versus Bayley. I think this is a program that not only have not seen, they haven't had a lot of matches against one another, especially considering that both of them have been faced for a large part of their career. To have this match, you know what? I'm kind of excited for it just to see how it's going to happen. I'm wondering, just because people seem to be very intrigued with this moment of Naomi right now, WrestleMania will be in her home state of Florida.
Again.
If there's anything that could happen, I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm not saying anything will happen. I fully expect Bayley to retain. But if there was something that could happen, I see this is kind of a moment that this could happen.
Yeah, I mean, strap her up. Why not? I think that she is by far growing in popularity again. And I think she's definitely one of the most popular. She was already one of the most popular people on the roster. I think if you do that for her again and give her another pretty lengthy reign, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it needs a shakeup. Not that there's anything wrong with Bayley, who to me has been consistently, the most hardest working female on that roster. I can't think of anyone I've seen week by week doing matches with everyone than Bayley. So why not? I'm cool with it. I'm with it. Shout out to Novak. Shout out to Novak. The main event, man, dog food bike.
This is the longest we've talked about SmackDown in a number of weeks, so I'm like exhausted talking about this. But
things happen.
Well, listen, Roman Reigns, the Usos versus. First of all, you talk about things happen. I saw this match announced, and I was like, didn't we just have this match last week? What the hell are we doing on SmackDown? Like, we're really doing this again, and I guess they had to like close up the dog food arc that they're kind of like doing on SmackDown now, where it's like, you get dog food, no, you get dog food, no, you get dog food. Especially considering like both the main guys have like also Super Bowl stakes, because don't forget, this was Super SmackDown, by the way.
Forgot about that.
Which was just SmackDown with like a different font between the SmackDown logo. It was supposed to be super, wasn't that super?
Shout out to Capcom for that font style. It's really cool.
But I can't say that I didn't like the ending. It was
ending was good.
Yeah, the ending was good. The ending was it was more than fulfilling of this entire kind of like month, not even a month long, probably like 2 months long, this arc of Roman Reigns and this dog food and this back and forth and Baron Corbin and his disciples and then the bloodline getting involved. To me, if this is the end of this, storyline, which I don't know if it is, but if this is the end for it, I think this is a pretty good way to kind of like cap it off and let's like wrap it up there. But it was a lot of solid action. This seemed like a lot of sports entertainment. The props thing as the dog food is very.
They made that dog food look like chili after it comes out your butt.
Oh, in 5 years, people are going to listen to something Russell with. It was like, where did you get the dog food? Dog food or us? Like, but
what do you think it was? Because has anyone smelled it?
No, it looked like Chef Boyardee. And a little bit of dog food. They might have still put dog food in it, to be honest with you. But it looks a little bit like, the old football commercials. Remember with like the football player and his mama and the chunky chicken soup?
Yeah. What? Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, you remember that. I don't remember the football player, but it was a chunky chicken soup. Ooh, let me look this up on YouTube right now. But that's what kind of it looked like with like dog food mixed up in it. Hold on, let me see. What's this football player? Nah, it wasn't this. Oh, wait, with the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, let me see. Campbell's Chunky Chicken Soup. I mean, it looked a little chunky. That's all I can say. It looked chunky soup with dog food.
I can't believe that you looked that up just now. Great segment. In this, please. They should be, I'm guessing Roman will be going to Saudi. So they got to get that ready.
You know this.
I don't really know what they got going now that this is seemingly over for any of these guys. So I mean, I guess this is a reason for us to tune in next week. So yeah, Monday. You'll tune in and you'll love it. We're slaves.
Of course. Oh, yes, we are.
We're slaves.
Not in the literal sense, but obviously figuratively.
So Monday Night Raw was a fine pro wrestling program on Monday. Wouldn't you say?
I like when shows are super long, but I still can't even feel that they're long. By the time we got to the main event, I was like, Raw is over? Oh my God. What was I doing for 3 hours? Like, this is what the Raws This is beginning to make up for all those other terrible periods of Raw that we had to sit through as we're doing this podcast.
2 years of it.
2 years of just like bad Raws. And you know what? The Super Bowl is over. Football is apparently over, even though the XFL will be running. Will the XFL be running on Mondays? I would assume they won't.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I would assume they won't, but Monday Night Football is such a thing that they might. But I would.
I don't think they'll want it to go against Raw. So no.
Yeah, I feel like Vince wouldn't ruin both bags at the same time.
USA would be pissed. I think it's gonna run Saturdays. I think.
Ooh, yikes. Okay. All right.
People watch on Saturday. People are insane about football.
Watch football. Turn the takeover. We can lose a takeover too.
Well, I think that's part of the reason to me. Also, that why that takeover Portland's happening on a Sunday next week.
It's happening on a Sunday.
Yes, it's on a Sunday next week. Yeah.
Wow, I have no concept of time at all. Just not at all. We got a couple, interesting things. Some of the stuff that, Raw makes feuds that are continuing kind of cool, where SmackDown makes feuds that are continuing.
Not a dog food.
Drag on further. Yes, drag on forever and ever and ever.
So, what I wanted to talk about at the top was Becky and Asuka running it back next week on Raw.
That's continuing that I didn't even think would.
Well, they're 1-1, so I get it. They got to have the rubber match. But in your opinion, if you were booking Becky for whoever, because we have no clue who she's getting in Tampa, do you have her lose this and then give her a bigger match without the title, or do you have her keep the title? And in that case, what are you giving Asuka?
No, at this point, she would have to keep the title. Like, at this point, it doesn't even make any sense to kind of drop the title from her, especially it would have to be a major kind of screw job finish.
Well, she mentions in her promo, she does mention it is stupid for her to be defending it this close to Mania, but she did it anyway. She does mention that in her promo.
Who is she to say what's stupid and what's not? Because she didn't defend for like many months before that. Like, she has no right. Just because she has to defend twice in the same month doesn't mean anything. Who is she to necessarily say that? However, I think just in general, first of all, big Monday night main event featuring the women that's been built up. That's already it's a pay-per-view match. It's not going to be on Raw. I think it's going to get plenty of time. It's going to have plenty of energy. It's going to have a lot of things going into it. So I'm fully supportive of this match. Even if Asuka loses, I'm fully supportive of this match just because it's a good idea. As far as Becky losing the championship, I don't think she should lose the championship at this point. It would, like I said, it would have to be a major screw job finish featuring someone involved in a main event program for Becky. It would have to be someone a Shayna Baszler-esque. Or it would have to be just someone, a Ronda-esque or something along those lines. It would have to be something, because Becky is still ultimately, Becky's not just a player on the roster. Becky is the face.
The player. Yeah.
Yeah. She is the person. So, she gets the wonky Stone Cold booking where it's like, you lose, but if you lose, it's not really your fault. But if you win, it's all your fault. So,
yeah.
That's what I think. But I like this feud continuing, and I love the match that led up into it between Asuka and Natty.
That one got a little chippy, if you will. There during like the first 2 minutes of the match, you see Natty look at Asuka and say, "You want to shoot on me, bitch?" And then I was like, "What's going on here?" And then from there,
Natty be acting.
Nah, bro. They proceeded to beat the absolute hell out of each other for about 15 minutes, I think it was.
They turned on the shimmer. They turned on the shimmer a little bit, and
well, there's one moment where Asuka kicks Natty square in the face and gives her a shiner, which she posted on Instagram later that night.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad. It don't even look like a shiner. It looked like her face just melted.
Like, exploded her face. I was like, oh my god, like what is going on here? But Asuka, she's been known to give it as well as she gets it. And
you gotta know.
it looked like a fight in there, and
But
I would love to.
That person like that on the roster, to be honest with you, to keep it real with people. Like, you need that person on the roster to be like, yo, I kick bitches for real. Like, I don't play.
And I feel like she does that with Charlotte too. Like, but I feel like Charlotte's not going to complain about it. Like, Charlotte's like,
nah. Charlotte feeds off the adrenaline. She's super adrenalined up. She's like a frat kid at a beer party when she goes in the ring with Asuka because she is turned up. She's like, yeah, give me more. Like, she starts screaming and stuff. That's when she didn't know Kairi Sane was concussed, and she was still like going ham.
Kairi was like, please stop. Kairi was like, please stop. Please stop.
And Charlotte was like, you going through this table. And she was like living her
up. Push you through it, or you fall through it. You going through it.
Oh my god.
Speaking of women, there's a lot of women stuff on the show. I just want to get through all
ladies. Shout out to ladies.
Rhea Ripley shows up on Raw this week to goad Charlotte into challenging her. Yet another person who has a match and a big, she's supposedly supposed to be at TakeOver. So would she do double duty? We don't know this yet, but she does challenge Charlotte to WrestleMania because she's beaten Charlotte before, as we all remember back in Survivor Series. She pinned her. She pinned her at Survivor Series. And very interesting because Charlotte is now scheduled to be on NXT on Wednesday. So what do you think about that? I think again, they're setting Rhea up for something huge. I'm just the implications of what they do with Charlotte next, I am very interested in. I'll say that much. I think she takes too many L's.
I think, the thing about this is that it's weird for them to have a sort of a Royal Rumble winner match and for them to have the winner challenge for the NXT Women's Championship. I think just how that kind of sounds and how it kind of looks, and there's no offense to like NXT, but it is kind of like they are 100% the third roster. They're not the second. They're not the A show. I mean, I love them, but they're not the A show. They're not the B show. They're the C show. They provide an alternative rather to most things that are in WWE. So to have Charlotte actually, like, if this becomes a thing and she challenges for it, it would have to be, you kind of like take Charlotte out of her element that she's kind of built up on Monday Night Raw with the character and the superstar look and all these other things. If you bring that to NXT, it might even dwindle, or she might really just outshine or outclass everybody else on that roster. So it's kind of like weird that they're necessarily doing that. I like Charlotte showing up on NXT. I just don't know if she should challenge for the NXT title at WrestleMania. To me, that looks kind of like
there is nothing else for her to do on these main like that. I'm two sides about it. I do agree, but when you think of the options she has right now, there is nothing else for her on the main roster that we have not seen before. We have not seen this match before. That's why I'm not opposed to it. But my thing is, when we get to the match, if Charlotte wins, what does that mean? right? Like, what does that mean if Charlotte wins this match? And two, if Charlotte loses, then she's just lost WrestleMania 2 times in a row.
In an NXT title match.
In an NXT title match. Like, it makes no sense. But then you look at it on the other side, they are building Rhea up to be that Charlotte type talent. And I don't
bring
think
Rhea up to the main roster. They still have time. Yeah. They could have brought Rhea up to SmackDown and have her beat Bayley. Like, I still don't like. It's not that I don't get what they're doing. I just think there's a roundabout way about it to kind of like, so it doesn't seem like the Royal Rumble winner, which is a WWE thing, is challenging for the NXT title, which is it's still kind of a weird thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, but that was the option, and that's always been the option. That was the option last year when Seth won, that he could have faced anybody. So I get it. That's the option. You can face anyone from any brand. That's fair. I don't think NXT, like they've properly integrated into NXT into as you said, the third brand. That is completely fair. But I think that when it comes to Charlotte, this is someone who has different implications than the Drew McIntyre. If Drew wanted to go back and win the NXT title again, cool. He could go against Adam Cole. There's story there, right? There's story there with Rhea and Charlotte. But I think in the end, Drew could take that loss and be fine. Charlotte has lost for a whole calendar year. Damn near.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think it makes
sense. She got beaten up by Becky for God knows how long.
It was like Tom and Jerry for a while there. And it doesn't look good on her if she can't pull this out. And I can say, if not for nothing, as much as I'm complaining about this, I am intrigued, and I do want to see where this goes next. And I will be on NXT on Wednesday to see where it does go.
Yeah, and I guess I'll have to tune in also to the War Report coming this week as well, where they're going to be talking about Charlotte Flair. Lucky to you guys, huh? Cyrus and MJ. Marjani. Lucky to you guys.
Yeah, you a-holes. I'm trying to be better about the cussing this year.
That's okay. That's okay.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit.
More with a lot of storylines happening with the women this week. We had Liv versus Lana in another squash, pretty much for Liv Morgan. But this brings out Ruby Riott, and you already know. You know, Meelz. You know how I felt.
Yeah, you were a fan. Listen, she came out. She looked like not only did she look, she looked great. She looked like she obviously them WWE checks were hitting, and her style just in general has reflected that. The hair pieces is amazing. The attire is amazing. She may have gotten some more tattoos. I don't know, but like
I've seen a couple.
She looked great. She looked great. I know you were looking. Yeah,
you know, I was like, my mic on.
Okay,
so
yeah, obviously.
She attacked Liv, which brings us to Liv's, I guess, first storyline. But it seems as though Lana's still in the storyline because she attacked Liv after Ruby gave her her finisher. I have heard that there is going to be more women added to this Lana thing, and I'm seeing it now, and it looks to be what's going to happen. I'm more interested, obviously, as we all are, in the Ruby Liv part of this, but I'm so glad to see Ruby Riott back. She's great.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a spin-off, but of the Rusev Lashley feud, but here we are.
So the elimination tag match, I thought it was excellent. I really liked it.
I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was weird the way it ended, but it still kind of ended in a way. And you know what? The reason I liked it is because I feel like so I like it and I don't like it, because there was a thing where Kevin Owens has lost again, and at this point it's like at some point you gotta like cut your losses. No pun intended. But you've lost so many times in these various matches. I think they lost with Samoa Joe when Samoa Joe got injured. They lost in that fist fight. They've lost so many times. I can't tell you how many times KO's actually won something in this entire program. However, it did provide him with much needed, like a grit, sympathy, as Ed would say. Yeah, sympathy, something, a build up. It was kind of like this big moment you were kind of building up, and it was like, okay, we're being reminded this is KO and Seth, and all these players that are in it are players within it, but this is still about KO versus Seth. And it gave you that sort of thing. I thought it was weird that Buddy got eliminated first, and then like it ended up being like Razor being the one who kind of wins the entire match. But it wasn't bad.
I liked it. I don't think it was like a. I'm not saying that you think it is this, but I don't think it was like a burial of Buddy. I think that somebody's got to go first, and it made sense to me.
Could have been Akam.
No, I don't. I think you set up the impossible odds with the AOP in that point, where it's two big towering dudes and not just Buddy Murphy. I get it in that sense. Like Buddy Murphy is tough, but he is still like, to not even to be disrespectful. He's kind of like the shrimp of all of them. Like he's the shortest guy. Like he's got to go out, and you got to set up the odds. Can I say that I did like the way that the Viking Raiders were taken out? That was really, really interesting, and I thought it was a great way to take them out without having them lose.
Yeah, you know what? You can definitely say that. I thought it was great as well.
I really dug the way they did that, and the way that they protected them. Like even when they do lose, it has a purpose, and they didn't want to just waste a Viking Raiders loss on some elimination match on Raw. So I did like that. We're waiting to see what happens with KO. We are 2 months into this, almost 3 months into this KO Seth feud, and there's been no singles match. So I think we're getting to that point, right? So we might see that soon.
Maybe in Saudi. Who knows?
Real quick, Randy Orton explained his actions against Edge in a tremendous opening segment on Raw that I thought was really, really well done. Randy just is on another level when he's allowed to do things like this.
Yeah, when he's allowed to be the Viper and he's allowed to be kind of like the asshole, and you put him in a situation where he gets to be as dangerous as he should be at this point in his career. He's able to pull it out. And Randy Orton, I mean, it was just a tremendous segment just from the energy of the crowd. They wanted to hate him, and he fed off of that. And he was like, he's supposed to be out there to make an apology, and he was just like, I can't do this. And you kind of leave him with the, okay, what does he mean by that? What are they going to do next? And that's kind of what you want from Randy Orton at this point. And you kind of want from a show, right? Just not to like, don't explain everything for me. Leave me hanging. Let me try to paint between these lines and see what happens from there.
A lot of people were concerned that they would have Edge show up this week. I don't even think he's tweeted since the thing happened. I think also Edge is someone who is a proponent of letting these types of things play out and create. Yeah, and even on the podcast, the old podcast I had with Christian, he would make these fantasy booking things, and he would bring up storylines like this where you have to have the guy off TV. So I don't think we'll be seeing Edge until March. How about that?
Yeah, no, I agree.
No Edge till March. Finally, we had a triple threat match to determine who would face Brock Lesnar in Saudi Arabia between Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and Ricochet. And we knew the payoff had to be coming, baby. The payoff had to come.
So you say you had to know. Did we really know that this was coming?
And I've been
the payoff to
and I've been waiting, baby.
The payoff to losing uncontrollably, being kicked in the dick for like 2 weeks in a row. Like, did we really know this was coming?
One week, and then he gave it back to Brock. Listen. You know why? You know why you had to know? And I said this right when the match got announced. I said Seth is already in the story. I said Seth is in the storyline. I said Bobby is in a storyline that is not over yet either.
Gotcha. So he won by default instead of his own merits. Bravo.
What kind of your man is stuck in a tag team? Stop talking to me right now.
First
your
of all,
man is on Smackdown.
Listen, the Miz is very versatile. All right, the Miz can do anything.
Yeah. Be versatile in them hot tags. Stop worrying about Ricochet.
And he will. How about that?
Ricochet. I thought it was as with most Raw matches, always a great time with anyone on this roster. I thought it was a great match. Even Seth, who does have an injury right now, his hand or his finger or something is broken, is still able to go out and give really, really great matches. And I thought Bobby Lashley was great here too. Ricochet does pick up the win, pinning Bobby Lashley. Of course, you don't want Seth to take that pin too early. I think it's so smart how Paul does. I just think I look at all the small things he does as far as who gets pinned, who gets the squash matches, even with like Aleister Black, even with Drew McIntyre, who both had squashes this week, who they were facing and how quickly they did it. I thought it was really interesting the way that they set all these things up.
I wouldn't have been mad at a Lesnar Lashley type of deal.
Oh God, here we go.
Wouldn't have been mad.
When did you start hating Ricochet? I'm trying to wonder.
I don't hate Ricochet. I don't hate Ricochet. I just said I wouldn't be mad if it was a Lesnar Lashley thing. And if you agree with me, at me on Twitter or call me at 223-9797 and share your thoughts. But other than that, I mean, I wouldn't have been mad because we've never seen it before. Don't get me wrong. We've never seen Brock Lesnar and Ricochet before either. But Lesnar and Lashley both have like WWE stock, and they've been like circling each other for a very, very long time. Both have been, the mixed martial arts. Both are pretty large. They called him Black Lesnar when he first debuted.
Listen. When Ricochet flips out the F5 into a shooting star press or some shit like that.
You mean when he bounces up from that F5 into a shooting star press?
Hey, he about to get them Saudi dudes a show, right?
Okay, all right. I hear that. Listen, if we climb up the face of Brock Lesnar, I won't be mad.
You feel me? I'm ready for this match. This is the match that's gonna have me at least tuning in at work. This Saudi
Brock Lesnar
show
came down at 11:59. There was like shows going off the air 45 seconds. This man hit the booster.
The cleanest F5 I've ever seen.
My man came in. I don't even think he got up from the floor. They just hit. I'm replaying this on YouTube now because like he legitimately gets the pin, and then like Brock in like 12
already
seconds,
in the ring. He's already in the ring.
Oh my god. Oh, that was beautiful.
We stand the king. We stand the king.
Oh
we
my
stand
god.
King Lesnar, bro.
Salute to Lesnar.
But that is it for this week in wrestling.
I'll say a few things about Raw also. Quick thing. I like the addition of Angel Garza to the entire thing.
Oh my god, how did I not put that down? I'm so sorry. That was a multi-segment match too.
It's okay. The Angel Garza thing I thought was, and then the Humberto Carrillo thing. I just think they're just using these Hispanic stars in such a momentous way, and they all play off each other, and they're having these great matches, and they're all kind of killing it. And then Angel Garza gets a moment as well, and you're kind of like building this entire set. Like it was just amazing. I think Paul just loves that family.
You know what I liked about all these guys orbiting each other is that they're not just fighting for titles, they're fighting for the right to be called a true Latino. And I think that's like some like wild, like not wild, but I think it's about pride. And I think that's what they kind of it kind of gives more passion and a lot more like reasoning as to why these guys are going so hard. But what's up with all these Mexican dudes DDTing each other on concrete? I just need to know, is that like a thing?
It might be a thing. All I could think about in this segment, I was like, damn, I know Eddie would be so proud if he was watching this show and just seeing all of these people.
Representation.
You see Hector Garza's nephew in the ring with his cousin Humberto Carrillo, who's in the ring with friggin' Andrade Cien Almas, who's in the ring with a legend like Rey Mysterio, who's in the ring like Sin Cara was there for a brief moment. Sin Cara stepped out there at the wrong time, man. He missed out on the bag. But it's just there's so much going on. Like I love it. I just say I love it. So shout out to them.
Yeah, really good.
We can end here.
Hopefully Angel comes back next week.
I hope so too. He lost the Cruiserweight Championship, but he won a spot on Monday Night Raw. So who's really the loser? Jordan Devlin. That is who it is.
Oh my god. And that is it for this week in wrestling. Thank you all for listening to the A Show. As always, we report to you live every Wednesday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And we have the latest and greatest in pro wrestling. So next week we're gonna try out a new segment that I want to do on the road to WrestleMania called our WrestleMania Moment Series, where we talk about some of the most iconic moments in WrestleMania, and me and Meelz kind of go long form on what those moments meant to us, and how they kind of shape the history of what WrestleMania is. I haven't done the schedule yet, but trust me, before it happens or during the time when we do it next week, you guys will know what we'll be talking about and what type of vibe this thing will have for the next couple of weeks, for the next month and a half before WrestleMania. So definitely stay tuned for that. Also tune into Spot Callers with myself and Cyrus. We reviewed The Last Afro, a very interesting show featuring the retirement of Kyoko Kimura and her great afro and her very, very wild 6-man retirement match. So definitely check that out, as well as the War Report with Cyrus and MJ every single Friday on the A Show RNC Network. Meelz, do you have any more thoughts? Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Not really right now. Just make sure to just be ready for a whole bunch of things that we got coming up. I don't want to say anything right now, but thank you guys for tuning in to the A Show. That's what I really like to say. 120 episodes is nothing to really shake a stick at. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. So until next week, my dog just sneezed. We'll see you guys next week on the A Show. Peace out.
Happy Rusev Day.